Hello, so welcome. This is how I play Minerva in 20 minutes. The decklog, Ian Bushi decklog, they called GMQ4. Immediately you'll notice I don't play the promo or the Spiral Cutie Angel. I think Spiral Cutie Angel is a brick after turn 2, and the promo doesn't help as much comparing to the other cards in the newer sets. I'll show you why. First of all, I like to begin with why I play Wisdom over Kyrie. Uh, Wisdom is counter plus one, Kyrie is counter plus one, and soul plus one. I know you have abundance of soul, abundance of soul after the promo. I don't play it, and I think in some edge cases where you need to restand for the fourth time in a game, the soul plus one can make a difference. And also, Wisdom can allow you to draw two unknown cards. But Kyrie is Kyrie itself, a 10k vanilla. I think it's a brick, 10k brick. Because in this meta, if you're 10k vanilla, you're a brick. And one unknown cards. Wisdom, you can draw two, then from your hand, call two cards. For Kyrie, it's top three, call one grade 2 or lower card. So if you play Kyrie, you look at PG, a trigger, you're kind of fucked. Unless one of the PG is Sanctitude, then you're okay. That will never happen with Wisdom. Say we play Wisdom, we draw two triggers, we can always call two trigger from our hand to the board, and that will still be okay. So from multiple perspectives, I believe Wisdom is a superior card than Kyrie. Show you a turn 3 play with Wisdom. Say you read up to 3, and then you play Wisdom. Draw 2, call T-Fall and Minerva. T-Fall skill. Since you played an order card this turn, and it's called by a non-unit card, in this case, order card, it can soul blast 1, look at top 5 card of your deck, call a unit card that's grade is equal or lower than your Vanguard, or add a order card to your hand. Say we call Apple, then we resolve Lurlim. Lurlim skill, counter blast 1, soul blast 1, you draw a card. We can soul blast Melissa here, but you don't have to because you write up from Melissa and Chamomile, so you have 4 extra souls. You can choose a soul from there. Typically, you want to choose Angelica or Minerva so that you have countercharge for next turn or Persona Ray. But for this example, we'll just use Melissa. So you draw a card and call Angelica from your hand to the board. And this column, Angelica plus Lurlim, is, I think, an ideal column. You want to make this column as much as possible in most situations. And after this, you resolve Melissa skill, call herself, and social charge 1. Angelica attack. Soul blast the Raven, put into the soul counter chart, and counter blast again, call Raven. Notice you write up from Raven, so you don't have to soul charge Raven from Melissa. You already have the Raven in your soul. It's from the right deck. And attack with T-Fall. The reason why is that T-Fall need have 4 units on your side of work to plus additional 10k, so this attack is actually 33. And Vanguard attack. Apple skill, return to your hand. Minerva skill, count plus 1, soul blast 3, stands itself. Attack again. And attack with the last column. Lurlim skill. It can soul charge Raven for next turn and recycle a Genesis. So again, you want to secure your Persona Ray for next turn or countercharge. So what you just witnessed is a 1-card play that builds through a whole board while set up for the next turn and having a decent 5 attack turn. And it's only possible if you play Order Minerva. If you play I think the meta JP list, it's not possible for you to do this. Okay, so that was the turn 3 Wisdom play. I want to show you a turn 3 Sir Godal play. Uh, Reverence 3, play Sir Godal. Call Angelica and Sagittarius. Call Lerlin, make an ideal column, and call Apple or anything, whatever. Note, you don't have to call anything from the back row. You can just proceed your turn with Angelica, Minerva, and Sagittarius. That will be fine. It will be a decent turn, trust me. But for the sake of the example, you can say we high road. We have Lerlin and Sir Godal. The typical attack pattern: attack, go to soul, countercharge, counterblast, call Raven, attack, go to soul, search, not search, recycle, Genesis from the drop zone, attack, stand. Okay, over here, the Melissas actually depends on your opponent's damage trigger. So let's say your opponent damage trigger once, you should call one Melissa and put it behind your Vanguard. If your opponent didn't damage trigger, you can counterblast one and so blast Melissa and Chamomile, call them to the left column, make a new column. And then I know you won't have a counterblast for Sagittarius, but that's fine because they didn't damage trigger anyways. It's okay. And then the attack pattern would be Sagittarius attack, look at top card, and then Vanguard attack, and then Chamomile and Melissa attack. That's the case if they have no damage trigger. Say your Vanguard attack, you hit a crit, they got 2 damage trigger, or they OT. What you need to do is Soul Blast Melissa, put it behind Sagittarius, and Vanguard attack again. If it's 2 damage trigger, it still has pressure because it's +5 from Angelica. Also, you hit a crit, so you put crit on Vanguard. So your Vanguard will hit 33. It will be 33 to 33. There's still Vanguard pressure with the crit, so they had a guard. And after that, Sagittarius attack. Blast, take his Vanguard power and hit him. Oh, this includes over trigger, so even the whole OT, Sagittarius can still pass. And of course, on attack, Sagittarius attack, look at top card. If you see a trigger, put it on top. If it's not triggered, put it into soul. Trigger on top helps you to guard next turn. Really strong defensively. Okay, so those were the orders. And I want to talk about why I play Reverence Rush. For Reverence Rush, one of the obvious applications is, Soul Blast, put Chamomile on top, Minerva skill, Soul Blast 1. Soul Charge the top card of your deck. That's multi-attack for that turn. Drilling Angel with extra steps. Or Reverence Rush, plus a draw power. You can get your Grace 3s. Basically, Reverence Rush plus draw equal anything grade 2 or greater. So which means we can do this. Say you read up to 3 and you soul charge the Wisdom order. You don't have any hand, what do you do? So then you play Reverence Rush. Soul Blast the Wisdom on top of your deck. Call Lerlin, draw it, and call a card from your hand. You can call Trigger here as well. It doesn't matter because you're using Wisdom. Your Wisdom. Call 2 cards. You build a board again, and ideal column on the left. What if you have Wisdom and you draw into Reverence Rush? Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. So if you soul charge Teeth Fault from your writing up, you can Soul Blast Teeth Fault, put it on top, play Wisdom, draw Teeth Fault, call Teeth Fault, and whatever other cards. Teeth Fault skill Soul Blast 1 calls you another card. Could be Apple, could be the Lerlin, could be anything. Depends on what you see on top 5. And if you call Lerlin, you can go further and use Lerman skill, Camel's one soul, draw a card, call Angelica, and secure the Persona right for next turn. And same thing for Surrogate Doll. Soul Blast Surrogate Doll with Reverence Rush, put it on top. Lirilim, draw Surrogate Doll, call a card, use Surrogate Doll, call Sagittarius and Angelica. So the board will look like this. You can put Reverence Rush to the bottom and save it for your next Persona right turn because, on Persona right, that card is 28. Even though it's a vanilla, it's a pretty good number. There are other minor details I want to talk about for different cards. For Teeth Vault, you can also add an order card from top 5 up to your hand. So it doesn't have to call a unit. Top 5, if you see Sanctitude, you can add it to your hand. If you see Surrogate Doll, add it to your hand. You see other Wisdom, add it to your hand. It's pretty good. Don't use Surrogate Doll to call Reverence Rush. It wouldn't work because Reverence Rush requires to be called from hand. Don't use Lurlem to call Teeth Vault because Teeth Vault needed to be called by a non-unit card. Try to save Sagittarius for the last attack. With Counterblast, it can even pass over trigger. We talked about this before. Also, again, you can set up for the damage trigger for the next turn. For mulligan targets, these are the cards you want to look for. Prioritize Lyridum and Wisdom. So there's also one copy of Surrogate Doll. You don't have to, you don't have to force your mulligan for Surrogate Doll. It's one off anyways. It's there. It's a one card combo. If you get it, sweet. If it doesn't, it's okay. But if you see Lyridum and or Wisdom, you keep it into your hand. If you don't have both of those, return your whole hand, and then even if you just have Reverence Rush, it's okay because the chances are after you write up to 3, you'll still try to run the orders, or you can use one of the Reverence Rush combo and enable your turn 3. So it's really versatile deck. I want to talk about the JP list briefly. I think my deck has a weaker Persona Writer than the JP list, since it focused on multi-attack. Doesn't really use Counterblast aside from calling Chamomile. I don't think they use Star Cuties on play skill at all. They just save the Counterblast for multi-attack. But personally, I think it's worth the sacrifice. Sacrifice the Persona Writer a bit. And the trade-off is you get a stronger early game, way more mulligan options, because in the JP list, you ideally want to mulligan for the grade 1, and even if you mulligan for Spiral Cutie, it's not as good. Yes, the goal is still drawing to the grade 1, right? So more mulligan options means more. It's a consistency boost, right? So even if I only have Reverence Rush in my hand, and I can still get a great turn 3. And also the potential of just make a full board with just one Wisdom. Those things are the JP list they cannot achieve. Only the Order of Minerva can do. All right, thanks. That concludes my my presentation on Minerva. I think we have a little bit of time here. I want to talk about my premium list. So One Shot Fenrir is not Mill Fenrir. This is post history collection. So the idea behind this deck is that you want to set up for your Ultimate Strike Ultima. Yes, I don't play Overtrigger. So the win con is first strike you go to the upgraded G4. The on hit you get 2 Force 2s, put it on your Vanguard and one of your Radar Circle, and then G Guardian. The next turn you go Ultimate Strike. You call Repler and the grade 3 dragon that copies your Vanguard trigger effect. Since you're on, Ultima, the trigger effect will apply to your whole board, and you can use Reedy, the DC card, grade 1. So for every 2 Soul Blasts during that turn, your trigger effect will grant you additional 5k. So it combos really well with Ultima. And you stack 2 crit trigger on top of your deck. Uh, and you're on Old Fenrir, so on strike you soul charge 3. And so the idea is that you just Soul Blast Reedy. Let's say you Soul Blast 8, you get 4 stack of Reedy. That's, what was that? That's additional 20k, so each trigger is 30k. That means for each trigger, your column will get 60k, and the Pharaoh gets 2 crit. And since the Pharaoh copies trigger effect from another unit, Rippler from any unit, and the Dragon can copy from Vanguard. So each trigger is 90k. No, it's 90k for the front row, but 60k for the back row. So you'll be hitting like 150k, and then 6 crits. Just one shot your opponent. That's still not 20 minutes. I think I overestimated or underestimated my talking speed. Well, that's it. Thank you.